Ladies and gentlemen, today is April 26, 2026. Welcome to Uncle Joe's Yuhua Show. Let me tell you, last night the Washington Hilton turned into something out of a thriller. The White House Correspondents Association dinner, Washington's annual black tie ball, and President Trump's first appearance at the event as president was interrupted by gunfire just before he was set to speak. A 31-year-old man from Torrance, California, named Cole Allen, charged a security checkpoint with a shotgun, a handgun, and multiple knives. The Secret Service moved like lightning. They tackled him in seconds. One agent took a round straight into his ballistic vest and walked out of the hospital that same night. Trump was rushed off stage, and afterward, from the White House briefing room, he said with a weary half smile, "These people out there crazy. They're all crazy." Then he added something with real bite. When you're impactful, they go after you. When you're not impactful, they leave you alone. There is a wry irony here, isn't there? A would-be shooter picks the room with the highest concentration of journalists in the country, and the journalists predictably beat everyone else to the exits, while live streaming the whole thing. The Han Dynasty court jester, Dong Fang Shuo, 2,000 years ago, put it best. Yongzhi Wei Hu, Buyongzhe Wei Shu. When employed, one becomes a tiger. When discarded, a rat. Last night's gunman wanted to play tiger. Inside that Hilton ballroom with Secret Service guns drawn, he was a rat being carried out on a stretcher. Pause. Now, a piece of positive news for the president. The U.S. Trade Representative reported on April 23rd that the Dow Jones closed above 50,000 for the first time in its nearly 130-year history. The U.S. goods trade deficit shrank 24% over the past 12 months. The deficit with China alone fell by 30%. Manufacturing wages are up an average of $1,800. Construction workers up 3,000. That is the report card for 1 year of Trump's Liberation Day tariffs. The critics who were polishing their "I told you so" speeches are now clearing their throats and quietly turning the page. One more line on this. Border apprehensions are down roughly 92% year on year, and the national homicide rate continues to decline. Trump is also planning to visit Beijing in May to meet Xi Jinping. The agenda covers trade, fentanyl flows, and Taiwan. I have to tell you, this older president has frightening stamina. Last night he was being shielded from gunfire at the Hilton. Today his cameras are already pointed at Beijing. Pause. To the world stage. The Strait of Hormuz remains a powder keg. President Trump has extended the ceasefire with Iran and handed Tehran an ultimatum: reopen the strait completely, or the U.S. naval blockade of Iranian ports continues. An advisor to the Speaker of Iran's parliament denounced the extension as a ploy to buy time. The U.S. has now moved the carrier USS George H.W. Bush into the region, bringing the count of major American warships in the Middle East to 3, pressure stacking on top of pressure like beacon fires on a great wall. Lao Tzu, in chapter 81 of the Tao Te Ching, said, "Sheng ren bu ji, ji yi wei ren ji yu you, ji yi yu ren ji yu duo." The sage does not hoard. The more he gives to others, the more he himself has. Great power negotiation always comes down to who lets go first. Apparently, neither side has quite figured that part out. Every leader wants to clench his fist tighter, forgetting that a clenched fist cannot hold even a grain of sand. Across the Taiwan Strait, KMT chairwoman Zheng Li met Xi Jinping in Beijing on April 10th, the first such encounter in nearly a decade. She came home and immediately began pushing Beijing's 10-point cross-strait package: tourism, direct flights, aquaculture imports. The deputy minister of Taiwan's Mainland Affairs Council called it old wine in old bottles. It is, isn't it? Like a man sending the same bouquet to the same young woman every few years, demanding fresh oaths of love each time. By now, the flowers have wilted and the vows have gone stale. In Ukraine, the 32-hour Orthodox Easter ceasefire collapsed almost on contact, with each side accusing the other of more than 2,000 violations, a truce shorter than most engagements. On April 22nd, Russia launched a single-night barrage of 215 drones. Ukrainian long-range drones, in turn, kept hammering Russian oil refineries. Meanwhile, in the Middle East, Trump brokered a 3-week extension of the ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon. That, at least, is genuinely good news. One short sentence covers it. Meetings beat missiles, handshakes beat fists. Everyone understands that. Almost no one manages to do it. Pause. Closer to home, 2 wildfires in Georgia have destroyed more than 120 homes and scorched over 40,000 acres. Extreme drought has turned the region into a tinderbox. This brings to mind the late Ming iconoclast Li Zhi, who wrote in his Fen Shu, 福田生一人，自有一人之用，不待去给予孔子而后足也. Each person born has his own purpose. He need not depend on Confucius to be complete. Li Ji burned his own books out of contempt for hollow orthodoxy and was hounded to death for his trouble. Today, nature is burning our homes, politics, our certainties. The flame of history, it seems, never truly goes out. It simply shifts which page it consumes next. 2 AI highlights. Google announced an investment of up to $40 billion in Anthropic, a 5-year-old company now valued at $380 billion. That is larger than many established multinational conglomerates that took half a century to build. On the other side of the lab, OpenAI's GPT 5.4 scored 83% on the GDPVal benchmark, meaning AI now matches or beats human experts on a wide range of professional tasks. White-collar professions that once felt untouchable are quietly being audited by software. Montaigne, 4 centuries ago, wrote, Rien n'est si fermement cru que ce qu'on sait le moins. Nothing is more firmly believed than what is least understood. How much does AI really know? Probably more than the people who boast about it, and considerably less than the people who stay quiet about what they're actually using it for. Pause. Let me leave you with one more. St. Francis of Assisi said, all the darkness in the world cannot extinguish the light of a single candle. That bulletproof vest last night, that was the candle. Li Ao, who spent a lifetime laughing and snarling at the world, and the one thing I wish to tell you is this. History never repeats itself, but it rhymes. Today's headline becomes tomorrow's punchline in Ziji Tongjian. Don't take the news too seriously, but don't dismiss it either. Every story under heaven is half a joke and half a lesson. He once said, you curse me online, I don't see it. I see it, I don't care. I care, I don't reply. I reply, and you still come out empty-handed? Until next time, ladies and gentlemen,